Good afternoon and welcome back to Track 2 at Net Stadium in McLeod. We are getting ready for the next game in our inaugural East Coast Classic, which will be WestSide Roller Derby versus Adelaide Roller Derby. Before we commence, I'd like to take a moment to pay my respects to the traditional owners of the land on which we meet and play today, and pass my respect and thanks to any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander people here today. As long as we've got two teams, we also have a third team, and they are our officials. And running the show this afternoon, we have Donna Kebab, Muggles, Kick, Kasawari, PMS, Hannibal Dector, Fluky, Jackie Ono, Nicholas Rage, Frandom Violence, Pee-wee, Boba Fett, Ray of Sunshine, Knickerbocker and Elemental, Knives to See You and Gary. We have in our blue shirts today, WestSide Roller Derby, WestSide Glory. We have 0 Legs, 07 Rory Spilmore, 024 Go Go Yubari, 101 Real Slim Sadie, 108 Trippy, 109 Club Sandwich, 1618 Victoria Beater, 162 Florence the Machine, 17 Liz Vegas, 21 Viola Rumble, 222 Dizzy Lizzie, 23 Machine, 34 Bash, 44 Revan Townsend, 442 Slasher, 460 Murderface, 531 Smiling Assassin, 73 Siebes the Day, and 89 Massacre Jones. In the white tops with the red writing is Adelaide Roller Derby, and they have 000 Valkyrie Vixen, 007 Pushy Galore, 03 Illuminati, 101 Crafty, 106 Judge Juicy, 16 Haynes, 20 Tudo, 21 Peaches, 234 Casserole, 420 Bionic Mayhem, 52 Pinch of Salt, 7 Cab Sauvage, 911 Steamroller, 913 Pretty Rizzo, 999 Thumpalina. And we are all getting ready for this game. If you've been watching, we are on track 2, East Coast Classic. This is our inaugural year, and we have games running on 2 tracks all weekend, both today and tomorrow. Also, we'd like to give a shout out to our wonderful first aid team. They're the ones that we really don't want to have to get to know, but if we do, we're glad they're there. Getting ready to, and there's the rolling whistle. We're very lucky to have such an amazing venue this weekend that is able to host 2 tracks. Okay, and jamming for Adelaide is 420 Bionic Mayhem, who has come through for lead. And jamming for Westside Glory is Club Sandwich. We are very fortunate this weekend that we have a lot of teams that have actually travelled from interstate. We have Adelaide Roller Derby here playing with us right now, along with other teams from Western Australia, Queensland and other South Australian teams, along with our Victorian teams. It's always good fun when we can play teams that we don't normally get to play. And Adelaide is getting caught up in a nice west side wall there. And they have called that jam, which was a 12-point jam. Oh, 14. So that's Adelaide Roller Derby on 14 and WestSide Roller Derby or WestSide Glory still to score. Lining up for the jam this time. Will be 5-3-1 for WestSide Glory, which is Smiling Assassin. Some very defensive games being played today. And WestSide have come through for lead. I'm still waiting to see the number of our Adelaide jammer to be able to tell you. Oh, it's Haynes. That's both of these teams have had tremendous years so far. We've had Adelaide overplaying with our own VRDL, and WestSide Roller Derby were the winners of the Victorian Statewide Championships this year, Statewide Stampede. A very tight pack. Blockers are making both jammers work extremely hard. And I'd like to extend a welcome to those of you who are watching us online via the live stream. We are very privileged to have the wonderful Beardcasts team providing us with live streams not only on one track but 2 tracks for 2 full days. Also like to thank our hosts, Ballarat Roller Derby League, who've put together such an amazing tournament. Tournaments like this take a lot of work and a lot of effort, and we very much appreciate their initiative in getting this up and running. And we are now in an official timeout. Also, for those of you who think, I'd like to come along and have a look, we still have another 2 games on this track and another 2 games on track 1 to go for today. We'll be here till about 7:15, 8 tonight. Along with that, we have some wonderful merch stores which our teams have brought along. Sales from merch go to help a lot of teams with their funding their programs, buying equipment and funding travel. We also have some amazing small businesses here. Pineapple Page, Talk Derby to Me. They're here with their wonderful goodies, and they are great supporters of the roller derby community, and we love seeing them at all our scrims. Just doing a couple of track adjustments. Those of you watching us from home may have noticed that our tracks are pink. No, it's not because it's the only colour that they don't have painted on the floors. Pink is actually a way of assisting any player that may have colour blindness be able to determine where the track actually is. Just one of many ways that roller derby prides itself on its inclusivity and its ability to create a safe and welcoming player experience. And WestSide currently have lead with a 162. And that's Florence and the Machine, and jamming for Adelaide. Was a pinch of salt. And so we have lining up for this particular jam, taking the jammer rolls. We have a 442 for WestSide, which is Slasher. I love these names. And for Adelaide, as soon as I can tell, I will get you. It's Pushy Galore with 007. And WestSide is out with lead for this jam. And down on turns 3 and 4, there's some great defensive work happening. Some of these players are into their second and sometimes even third game for the day, so you can appreciate the stamina and physical fitness of all the players involved. If they've not played multiple games, many of our players are also helping out in the black and white stripes you see on track and in non-skating capacity. Lots of defending blocks going on around track turn 2. If you're liking what you're watching and you're at home and you think, how do I get involved? If you go onto your socials, you'll find most leagues have their own socials, and you can give them a shout out and they will let you know how to join the fun. So we have WestSide Roller Derby currently on 37 with a 17-point jam, and Adelaide Roller Derby on 16. As I said, most of our leagues have a presence on social media, and they are only too happy to help you with any of your inquiries. And out in the jam position today is Dizzy Lizzie for WestSide, and Bionic Mayhem for Adelaide, with WestSide taking the lead. Okay, another quick jam called off by WestSide. I'd also like to give a shout out to the City of Banyule and their wonderful venue in which we are privileged to be able to play today. It's not always easy getting a venue that can have 2 tracks simultaneously, and we have a wonderful venue here. And it appears that we've got a timeout called for Adelaide, as well as some running repairs on the track. Also, a bit of housekeeping if you're new in the building this afternoon because you've just come to watch your friends or family play. All of our bathrooms here over the weekend are all gender neutral. However, they will have signs indicating what facilities are in what bathroom. And as the players return to track to recommence after that timeout, we have a scoreline of WestSide Roller Derby on 39, Adelaide Roller Derby on 16. With a little over 10 minutes left in this first half of our game. And while we're waiting to recommence, many of you might think, well, I like the game, but I don't want to skate. As you can see, we have a lot of different roles that you can be part of our wonderful community and not necessarily have to be on skates. We have our wonderful non-skating officials, along with people that run behind the scenes, commentary, our wonderful live stream providers. Lots of fun to be had for everyone. We're about to recommence. And we start this jam with a player from each team in the box. And we have Club Slamwich jamming for WestSide, and we have Haynes for Adelaide Roller Derby. WestSide have come out with lead. As I said, we are currently running 2 games in the venue. So when we do break for halftime, I will endeavour to get scores from our other track. There's a lot of defence coming in around turn 3. Very tight pack. And those of you who may be new to Derby and watching friends or family for the very first time, you may notice that some of our players have different markings on their helmets. You have a star, which indicates that that particular player is the jammer, and they are the offensive player for that team. We also have a helmet cover with a straight line down the middle, and that indicates a pivot. And the pivot has a dual role because they're not only defending, they can also, if past the star from the original jammer, become the jammer through what is known as a star pass. It looks like a little bit more of track maintenance going on. Coming up after this game, we have 2 more games on this track. We have Kingston City Rollers versus Pivot City in a rematch from their statewide Stampede hit out. Then after that, we have VMRDL, so Victoria Men's Roller Derby, and I think it is a Western Australian team. I haven't got the team in front of me, So 2 more great games to still come. We're about to recommence. And jamming, we have the Smiling Assassin for WestSide Roller Derby and Peaches for Adelaide Roller Derby. And WestSide skaters returning to track, and we have Adelaide's pivot now paying our wonderful penalty box timers a visit. Yes, so our final game today is Victorian Men's Roller Derby, Valkyries, versus Brisbane City Rollers and Friends, or the Brawling Borders. And that's the end of this jam. So another few action-packed games still to go. And currently on track 1, we have VRDL Thunder playing Brisbane City Rollers, the Red Kennedys. And they still have another 2 games afterwards on their track as well. Lining up for the jam this time in Adelaide is Bionic Mayhem. And 162, Florence the Machine, who has now been sent to the penalty bin. A lot of defence work going in. A nice little tussle going on there with Bionic Mayhem through the pack. As you'll notice, it's very tactical. And our defensive packs are making all of our players work extremely hard. And we have WestSide through as well. And there was a penalty there. And we've had a successful star pass from Adelaide, passing their start to 5-2, and that is the end of this jam. So we have a little over 5 minutes left in this first half. And we are go again. We have jamming for WestSide Roller Derby, Slasher. And for Adelaide, we have a Pusher Galore. And we have 2-3 for WestSide, heading to the penalty box for a multiplayer block. And we have WestSide through with lead. A very tactical way of calling off that particular jam. Some of the teams that you've seen here today, both on track 1 and track 2, are in the middle of quite a hectic game schedule, and that is Dizzy Lizzie out jamming for WestSide, and Haynes is coming closely with Adelaide. As I said, some of the teams that are here today will not only be meeting each other here today, but will be meeting each other in Queensland for Trop Cup, along with their regular normal league commitments. Lining up for the jam with Adelaide is Peaches, and Club Slamwich is lining up for WestSide. And we've had a successful star pass for Adelaide with 2-1 now becoming their jammer. That was Royal. No. And for those of you at home that have joined the live stream and thinking, where's my family member? Where's my friend? If they're not on track in this game, chances are they will be on track in the other track. Okay, and jamming for Adelaide, we have a Pushy Galore, and Smiling Assassin has taken the star for WestSide Roller Derby. Some very tight defensive work happening with both teams. Both walls are making all players work extremely hard. Both packs and both jammers working extremely hard. No one's giving anything away. And as we come to the almost the conclusion of our first half, just a reminder that we have some wonderful merch stores. We have the cafe that is running downstairs that are amazing. We also have our wonderful officials and small business owners. So feel free to pay them a visit and share the love. And as a reminder for those of you that are in the building, our bathrooms are all completely gender neutral. However, there will be signs. And that concludes our first half. Adelaide on 23 and WestSide on 75. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. Thank you. Okay. We are getting ready to recommence our second half of this particular game. For those of you just joining us or who've come over from our other track, we are currently getting ready to commence the second half of the game between WestSide Roller Derby and Adelaide Roller Derby. We have WestSide currently on 75 points and Adelaide on 23. We are being supported today by a wonderful team of volunteers, both on and off skates. So we have our wonderful referees, or zebras as we like to call them. They are on skates, and we have our wonderful non-skating officials manning our penalty box, scoreboard, all the important things. We also have a wonderful team of first aid providers here today. We are hoping that they all have extremely boring days and not getting any custom, and that they get to enjoy our sport. But for those of us who may occasionally need to pay them a visit, we are very glad they're here. And after this game, we still have another 2 games left on this track. Next up on this track will be Kingston City Rollers and Pivot City. This will be a rematch of a game they both played in late June or early July as part of our statewide stampede. Pivot City is made up of skaters from both Gippsland and Geelong to form their merged team. And a reminder that we will be here all day tomorrow as well, running games on both tracks, and it will culminate with a game on track 1 at the end of the day that is being called the Chaos Round. What is the Chaos Round, you may ask? Well, it's a unique game with unique and as yet unknown rule sets. It'll be a fun way of ending a great tournament, as well as giving everybody involved a lot of laughs. And we are getting ready to recommence set game. This will be the second half of this game. We currently have WestSide Roller Derby on 75 points and Adelaide Roller Derby on 23 points. And lining up for WestSide for the jam is Slasher, and we have Peachies taking the star for Adelaide. 2 very tight, compact packs, making both jammers work extremely hard. With WestSide successfully obtaining a lead. And WestSide's jammer has just paid a visit to our penalty bench. That then means that this jam will run a full 2 minutes. As I mentioned earlier, that lovely star on our helmets indicate lead jammer, and they are the only one, apart from the time clock, who can call off a jam. However, if the lead jammer is sent to the penalty bin, they lose lead status. Therefore, no one other than the clock can turn off the jam. And a successful star pass there for Adelaide, with 5-2 becoming their new jammer. And that's a pinch of salt. Okay, and we have the WestSide jammer in the box, and that is the end of this jam. As we go into recommence this next jam, it is what is known as a power jam. That means that there is only one jammer on the track at the beginning of this particular jam. And Brisbane, and that's a big commitment to a sport, to especially for our WA players, come across that long stretch of road called the Nullarbor Plain. And we are grateful and glad they are here playing with us today. And for those of you wondering where we have a delay in play, we have a small technical issue with our scoreboard. However, we have the maestro about to fix the scoreboard. We also like to give thanks to our non-skating officials and our referees and our magician on the scoreboard, who has waved her magic wand. And we have a scoreboard, and we have WestSide Roller Derby on 89 and Adelaide on 31. And okay, and that's the rolling whistle, and we will be resuming. Okay, and we are off and running again. We have club sandwich for WestSide Roller Derby and peaches for Adelaide. Coming up next on track, we will have Kingston City Rollers, excuse me, it's been a long day. And they will be playing against Pivot City. Kingston will be in the black and gold, whereas Pivot will be predominantly green. And a slight score update, WestSide Roller Derby are now on 90 and Adelaide on 32. And lining up with the jams, we have Smiling Assassin on 90. Sorry, not 90. WestSide. And we have Bionic Mayhem for Adelaide. A quick jam is a good jam, as they called that one, with Adelaide scoring 1 point. And as I was mentioning previously, we do have junior leagues around the country, and we do have players that have represented Australia, and we are very lucky that we also have some of our juniors who are aging up into adult leagues playing here today. And we just had a referee taken out by accident. Oh, and an apex jump. That was good. Haynes just did what we refer to as an apex jump, which is jumping the bend in the middle of the track. And with that, she has called off the jam. As we play on a oval-shaped track, you'll find we have two long straights, and then we have the curves at each end, and they're commonly known as the apex. An apex jump is when a player jumps across said apex. And Adelaide scored 80 points on that particular jam. And we have now leading, have Florence versus the Machine on 162. And for Adelaide, we have Pushy Galore. Two very tight packs doing some amazing defence work. So we have Florence the Machine out in lead. Oh, and we now have the Blue Jammer paying a visit to the penalty box, which means this jam will now go the full 2 minutes. All players are working extremely hard. Very solid walls happening today. And our skaters are being recycled back, and there's been a star pass with a Pretty Rizzo now taking the star for Adelaide. And that jam concludes. We've got just a little over 7 minutes left in this second half. And then we will be welcoming Kingston City Rollers and Pivot City to the track. So lining up this jam is Peaches for Adelaide and Dizzy Lizzy taking the star for WestSide. We have Adelaide coming through for lead jam for Peaches. And we have Dizzy Lizzy who has broken through the pack, and Peaches has just collected a neat 4 points on that particular scoring run. Both packs of players playing a very strong defensive game. And it's When you think that our blockers have wheels on their feet and yet they are sticking in one spot, it's amazing the strength that goes through. And we have Dizzy Lizzy picking up 4 points there. And that is the end of this particular jam. We have a little over 5 minutes to go left in this game. And for those of you that are in the building, at the conclusion of today's game, we will ask you all to come down for the celebratory lap, where we get to all give our players a wonderful congratulations. Jamming this jam, we have Bionic Mayhem for Adelaide and Club Slamwich for WestSide. And we have just had a successful star pass for Adelaide. And they now have a new jammer. And lining up for this jam, we have the Smiling Assassin for WestSide, and for Adelaide, it is Haynes. And Haynes has just blitzed through to get lead, with WestSide not that much behind. An incredible wall of players there. And we have both teams currently scoring an extra 4 points. And that jam has come to a conclusion with Adelaide Roller Derby scoring 6 and WestSide a further 8, score being 115 WestSide to 58 Adelaide. Coming up next, as I said, we have another 2 games on this track along with games on track 1. And taking the star for our teams this jam is Slasher for WestSide Derby. Well, and for Adelaide, we have a Pushy Galore. In this jam, we have Slasher successfully out in lead. Some great defensive work happening in with both teams this game. And that was another scoring one of 4 points for Slasher. All the action is currently happening now on turns 3 and 4, with 2 pretty much impenetrable walls there. However, Slasher has made her way through. And with that, WestSide have called off that jam. As we line up for the next jam, we have Peaches for Adelaide. I'm just looking at who is... Well, it was Florence and the Machine for WestSide. This really has been an amazing game. We have plenty more games to come up. We have another 2 running on this track, as well as our track 1. And then we are here again tomorrow to do it all again. Okay, and that is the jam, and our unofficial score is WestSide Roller Derby on 136, defeating Adelaide Roller Derby on 58. We just wait for the rolling whistle to make that official, and we ask all our spectators to come and join our players in a lap where we get to get them on all high five, low five, say congratulations. It's one of the best things about roller derby. And with that rolling whistle, we now have our final score. WestSide Roller Derby on 136 versus Adelaide on 58. My name's Sparks, and it was a pleasure taking you through this game. Coming up next, we have Kingston City Rollers, and they will be in their black with a pink stripe, playing against Pivot City, who are predominantly green with purple. Last time these teams met, it was very tight. I believe there was less than 10 points in it at the end. So it'll be very interesting to see this rematch.